Okay, Odyssey 19 is called the Niptra. This is where Odysseus is recognized by his nurse, Eurycleia, when she anoints him, washes his feet. Telemachus is Odysseus's son. Telemachus was amazed at the great light that shone on the walls of his house.
One of Jesus' disciples was amazed at the great buildings in the Jerusalem temple.
Odysseus went to Penelope and sat.
Jesus went to the Mount of Olives and sat.
Penelope in private questioned her husband in disguise.
4 of the disciples in private asked him about the destruction of the temple.
Odysseus answered and gave her signs that he had seen her husband and that he would soon return.
Jesus answered and gave them the sign he would return.
That very day, Odysseus was consulting the oak sacred to Zeus at Dodona, according to his own report.
The disciples should consult the fig tree.
He is near.
He is near.
All these things will come to pass.
Until all these things take place.
No one in Ithaca knew if or when Odysseus would return.
It is like a man on a journey. Keep watch, because you do not know when the Lord of the house is coming.
The suitors were prepared to kill Telemachus and Odysseus.
The chief priests and scribes were seeking some deceitful way to arrest and kill.
The suitors feared harm from the people of Ithaca.
The authorities feared a popular uprising.
After giving his prophecies to Penelope, Odysseus, disguised as a beggar, sat by himself.
After giving these prophecies to 4 disciples, Jesus sat at table in the humble home of a leper.
Eurycleia came in with a bowl of water and washed his feet. Later, she, quote, anointed him generously with oil, end quote.
A woman came with an expensive stone jar of ointment and poured the contents on Jesus' head.
When she recognized her master, she dropped his leg into the brass vessel, spilling the water.
She broke the jar to release the oil.
She alone recognized her king.
She alone recognized that Jesus soon would die.
Melantho, a female slave, had objected to Penelope's generosity to a poor beggar.
People at the meal objected to the woman's extravagant anointing. The ointment could have been sold and the money given to the poor.
Odysseus and Eurycleia discussed the disloyalty of some of the slaves.
Then Judas Iscariot, one of the 12, went to the chief priest for the purpose of betraying him.
I've delayed the most striking and unusual similarity until now. Jesus praised the woman by saying, wherever the good news is proclaimed throughout the world, what this woman has done will be mentioned in her memory. That is, the woman will have far-flung renown. She will be Eurycleia, renowned far and wide. The significance of the name Eurycleia was noted by an ancient reader. Eurycleia, she who had far-flung and great fame. So that, and again, the Byzantine readers of the text of Jesus's anointing used lines from this very story in the Odyssey to retell it, and they emphasize that the name Eurycleia means renowned far and wide. And it said of the woman who anointed Jesus that wherever the gospel is preached, she will be remembered. So these similarities don't go away, and you have to explain them somehow, esoteric. Now, maybe I didn't correctly understand it. It could be that these stories are simply in the air and that they know folklore like this, but it doesn't account for all the whole sequence of similarities. It's really quite unusual, and it requires an explanation.